6-3. It's the Tigers leading the Rangers. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Greer, Lee, and Ortiz coming up. Ranger action upcoming, and boy, do we have a bunch of it. Well, starting today, actually, with the second game of the doubleheader, and tomorrow through Monday, Tigers. Will we know the Tigers? Will you know the Tigers? Everyone will know the Tigers. Then Tuesday through Thursday, it's the Indians. There is a fan. Let's see. What's that one? I can't tell what's on the back. What name is on that? This is Greer, who has lined to right and struck out.
Might have been Trammell. It looked like it finished ELL. Could have been McDowell.
Yeah, it looked like it had a 2. Maybe it said Will the Thrill, because it might have been a 2-2.
Yeah, might have been Will the Thrill.
1 ball and no strikes. Greer.
For all we know, having Cockrell Bowling Club or something.
Kevin Cockrell. That had L's on the end.
Yes.
Fine utility star here. He's all over the ballpark every night, getting names of foul ball catchers. 2 balls and no strikes, and there is a, well, I guess a ball right down the middle, but not over the knees, between the knees and the upper part of the zone, wherever that is. And the leadoff man is on.
Bad sign. We've often talked about that being a bad sign when a pitcher can't throw a strike on 3-0 to the leadoff hitter.
Gardner's getting ready, and the hitter will be Lee. Manuel has grounded out to second twice. Now that could be bad news for the Rangers, because you got a guy on first. That can turn into 2. They play him way over on the hole. Whitaker does not really play him near the bag at second, but the shortstop Gomez is over a little bit. Where Whitaker cheats is that he is not as deep as he would be. He is still close enough to the bag than he normally would. And now Billy Muffet going to come out and talk. They have to be concerned that Gore is showing the effect of the heat.
As Muffet visits with Gore in New York through 4 innings, Jim Abbott and Randy Johnson are hooked up 1-1. Dan Wilson, a solo home run for Seattle. Through 4 innings, Johnson has 10 strikeouts.
Ooh, wow.
10 of the first 12 blowaways. You know, you look at that Yankee lineup, though, he might get a bunch against that lineup. The middle of that lineup will...
Alan, remember, the right-handed lineup.
Oh, it's the right-handed lineup tonight. That's right.
Mattingly's probably not playing ball.
O'Neill, they're probably all down tonight.
Here's Lee. Buck Showalter did that here against the Rangers and mystified us. And if he's doing it against Randy Johnson, oh, that's in New York. He's going to get some.
Randy Johnson's just taken a lead, by the way, as his catcher Wilson's driven in another run.
2 balls and no strikes to Lee. Taking ball 3. And Lee gets on, and Ortiz would be the tying run, but now again, that's a long shot that he's able to tie it himself. He's got as many home runs as he has number on his back. 3 balls and no strikes. He strikes.
Greg, I've got an amazing announcement for the NBA. How tired are the Minnesota Timberwolves of Chuck Person? They have bought out the last 4 years of his contract and said goodbye.
Oh. That's all that franchise needed to do. When we were up in Minnesota, they don't have much of a front office. They don't really have an owner. All they know is the league is going to make them stay where they are. That's sort of a franchise that's in a bit of turmoil.
Boy, it does send a signal, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. 3-2, runner goes. It is outside, ball 4, and the Rangers with nobody out at the tying run at the plate. Now, the Rangers trail by 3, but it's still in too bad a spot. Ortiz coming back to the dugout, and the Rangers are going to go for a guy who's got a little power to pinch hit here. And Sparky's going to make a pitching change, which it'll be a right-hander, so the Rangers are going to still be going with Strange, who's coming in the on-deck circle. Gardner will come in, and he will be facing a pinch hitter. He'll be facing Doug Strange. Now, Doug obviously is not your classic big bopper left-handed power hitter off the bench, but as we know, he does have occasional power. He also, however, is a pretty good bunter, so even though the Rangers trail by 3, this game is sufficiently early, the 6th inning, that he could be called on to sacrifice them both over. Well, there's a lot of activity for you if you come to Ranger baseball. Not only the great concession stands, but and they do feature chicken. Oh no, that's not what this is about. This is the famous chicken. He make his first appearance at the ballpark in Arlington Sunday, July 17th. Make plans now to watch the Rangers and world champion Blue Jays plus the famous chicken. If you can't be here in person, we'll have the game for you on HSE.
This is Mike Gardner. Gardner's 28 years old, a former Seattle draft choice, 18th round. Seattle moved him on to Boston. He pitched part of 90 with Seattle, parts of 91 and 92 with the Red Sox, parts of 93 with Montreal and Detroit, and all of a sudden Mike Gardner's become a pretty good pitcher. In 90, when he was at Williamsport, Seattle thought they had something unbelievably special. In 26 starts back in 90, this guy's earned run average was 1.90. And listen to this strikes to walk ratio. 149 strikeouts and 29 walks that year, but he's never done it on a major league level. Gardner, including this year's 2-1 record, is 17 and 26 as a major leaguer, but he seems to have found a home in middle relief in the Tiger bullpen.
He is a Canadian native. In fact, played on Team Canada in the '84 Olympics, went to college in the United States at Indiana State University, and has a business degree, and he will now see if he can take care of his present business, and that's get some Ranger hitters out. Strange will be the batter. We pointed out, gives the Rangers a couple of options. They can sacrifice here, even though they trail by 3. It is only the 6th inning, and you get 2 in scoring position for singles hitters like McDowell and Fry. And Tigers are aware of that with a third baseman shallow. Strange has 4 sacrifices. And if that doesn't work, Strange gives you the percentage as a hitter. And he's not showing bunt on the first pitch, and he takes a strike. Sometimes, although that looked like a take all the way on Strange's part, sometimes the manager will give you 1 pitch. Now let's see if he does sacrifice here. No balls and a strike. Swinging, fouling the ball into the dugout. So now the percentage is to get a base hit with the left-handed hitter Strange. Doug, having been used as a pinch hitter, he is 0 for 3. His last at bat was a sacrifice bunt.
He's locked in a really bad streak, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 233 as a left-handed hitter, but his 4 home runs have all come this way.
2 for his last 32.
Tigers looking for a double play ball, and instead they get a strikeout as Doug was way out in front of that off-speed pitch, and that was turned out a wasted at bat.
What a breaking pitch by Gardner, though. Greg, we've seen this guy before. Do you remember a pitch that looked like that from him?
Straight down, and
wow.
McDowell is up.
Somebody, I suspect Mr. Muffet sitting on his tuffet, taught him the split finger.
Here's McDowell. And he takes that one inside for a ball. Rangers need to get at least 1 out of this. With the first 2 on and nobody out, you need to get at least 1. Rangers looking for a base hit for McDowell. Whitaker, the second baseman, is angled toward first to cover the hole, but not far from the bag, so that he can get back. Balls hit the left side. They can turn a double play. 2 balls, no strikes.
We may have seen the last of Chris Carpenter. Smith working seemingly with a purpose out there. Carpenter could well have been out of gas after last inning.
Two balls and no strikes. Fly ball center field. That won't do anything. The catch will be made by Ricardo Ingram. 2 outs. So it's going to be up to Jeff Fry to get something out of this inning as Fry comes up 2 for his last 2. He's 2 for 3 in the game. 2 singles to right. Gardner last season was extremely good when he was used in these situations. He inherited runners off him last year at 148 batting scoring average. Only 4 out of 27 that he inherited scored. And that was in a total of 34 games used. That's very good. It was after he got out of those situations that he had more problems because his earned run average was nearly 5. Woo! Ball gets off the glove but stopped. Coming up in the next inning would be Cecil Fielder, which kind of makes you think that we may in a situation that Carpenter, we know still have the jacket on the shoulder, he may be coming in to at least pitch to Cecil. And then you've got Gibson, the left-hander, which would perhaps mean the change. And then Tettleton's a switch hitter, so it doesn't matter too much, although Mickey hits left-handed more frequently.
Well, if
and much better.
2 switch hitters, and the left-hander would force them each around to their worst side.
Yeah, Mickey's only a 204. Well, that's if you get to the, if you get to the 4th guy. You get to Felix.
Yep.
Rangers hope they don't get that. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rangers trailing 6-3. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Runners at first and second for Texas. 2 outs and Fry the hitter. That's in tight. Matt Whiteside has joined the bullpen. 2 balls and a strike to Fry. Not only would Rangers desperately like to see Jeff get a base hit to get at least one of these runs in, they'd sure like to see Canseco up again with runners on base. Fly ball right field. If the Rangers are lucky, it'll be out of play. They are lucky. The flags high atop the stadium are blowing straight in.
Well, it depends where you look.
Well, they're still in. Nothing out. Sort of toward left, in left, but they're mostly in. Nobody's blowing out. None of them are blowing out of the park. Let's put it that way. The angle may be slightly different. It's that water effect off the printed ink. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. That's high and away. I was wondering about that. Bob mentioned the truck, they're building this big lake outside the park. Doesn't have enough water in it yet, but you suppose we'll ever have lake effect winds?
Or lake effect storm.
3 balls and 2 strikes. That lake may be big enough. They may be able to have people bring their boats and park in the docks out there when they come to the game, like they do in the University of Washington for football.
Boy, this is a big pitch here. Somehow Fry manages to get on.
You know it.
Canseco's the lead run.
And he did, I think. Stay down. It's down. Here comes 1 run. Going to third base is McDowell, and the Rangers are within 2, and here comes Canseco. 3 hits in a row for Fry. Run batted in, number 14. Scoring was Greer. Going to third was Lee.
Ricardo Ingram didn't seem to get a real good read on this ball. He hesitated in center field. Probably doesn't make the catch anyway on it because the ball was really smoked. But the hesitation cost him any shot at all.
And now Canseco, who the last time up hit a towering ball to left field that he thought was out right away. Left fielder Phillips thought was out right away. I thought was out right away, and then cleared the fence by about 3 feet. But it counted. Canseco with his 23rd home run. Now the Rangers trail by 2. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. And the pitch is low.
The Minnesota and Texas series matched the 26th and 27th worst pitching staff by earned run average in the league. This one matches the 27th and 28th worst pitching staffs in baseball, and we're starting to see the effects.
Yeah, it makes for exciting baseball, though. You got to say that. Maybe frustrating at times. Ace ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, you better smile on that one.
Larry's not giving the ball around the knees, is he?
Two balls and no strikes. Canseco 2 out of 3 in the ball game. Singled in the first. Off speed for a strike. Just took enough off to throw the stride off. Jose is 1 run batted in away from tying Kirby Puckett for the lead, providing the Puckett does not have an RBI in the 1 Minnesota run so far tonight.
No, it was Herbeck run batted in.
Okay. Outside. There are worse things than walking to load the bases for Will Clark.
Clark, a left-hand hitter. But the Tigers use a 3rd pitcher in this inning.
Greg Cataray.
Alive and well and living in the Tiger bullpen.
Chop to the infield. Coming in hard for it is Gomez. They flip across, and that retires the Rangers. So the Rangers get 1 of them, and we finish the 6th. And the Tigers lead by 2. 6-4. We'll be back.
1, 2, 3. There's a 250,000 miles around Texas, Amarillo down to Lubbock to San Antonio, from the Rio Grande Valley up to Houston on to Dallas, Austin to El Paso, and then we'll fly you home. There's miles and miles and miles and miles of Texas, from the beaches to the mountains to the plains. We'll get you there on time on Southwest Airlines. I guess that's why we're called the company plane.
There's a place where we all come together to sell our goods, marry our children, mourn our dead, to reveal our villains and heroes. It's the place we all share. It's the story of all of us. The Dallas Morning News.
Pick up the story of all of us.
Now, over time, cars that can benefit from higher octane can benefit from new Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium gasolines. 2 choices with an advanced system of engine cleaning that works over time for the highest performance, lower emissions, and improved mileage, changing what gasoline can do. New Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium from Texaco. Give us 60 days and watch what can happen.
One of my greatest rewards has been the number of assistants that I've trained that have gone on to get their head professional positions. I've enjoyed training them and seeing the success that they've had.
Ivan Rodriguez enters the game to catch. Chris Carpenter stays in the game under the direction of manager Kevin Kennedy. So Carpenter will be working into his 4th inning. It would be his 3rd. It's all of the 5th, all of the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So he'd be working into his 4th full and 1/3 of an inning in the 3rd inning. But there is action ready if he falls into any problem at all. And again, we talked about it before. He may be only pitching to Cecil Fielder.
Manager Lucas may have this one nailed, because you know the Rangers don't need people up and throwing. Right now, if you get up and throw, you generally come in the game. And it appears that's the plan for Carpenter to pitch 1 man and then bring Smith. We had any update on the bunion condition of Jerome Walton yet from Cincinnati? No.
Cecil has singled and driven in a run in 3 at-bats. 1 for 3. Big swing and a miss. Carpenter struck out 2 of the 3 that he faced in the 6th. And he has faced Cecil once. He got him on a medium fly ball to center. In our visit to Detroit this year, Cecil put one on the roof. That gets away, and it's 1 ball and a strike. Pudge Rodriguez into the game action for the first time in several days. He was going to start the 2nd game anyway. He just gets in early after the pinch hit performance. He has missed 3 games and half of this one. 1 ball and a strike. Too high, 2-1. Cecil Fielder has a new big house in the Detroit area. He purchased that after he got his new big contract, but he still spends a lot of his winter in his house here. That's in tight, which isn't a bad deal considering what winter's like in Detroit.
Cecil, a frequent charity golf tournament.
By himself? He's a whole golf. He's big, but
frequently at charity golf tournaments in the offseason.
Oh, okay. But you were saying he was a whole tournament. That's fouled back. Question from the truck was, does he stay in his house when he's here, or does he stay in the hotel? Well, he wouldn't have to stay in the hotel. I really don't know. I would guess possibly at the beginning of the year, certainly he might, because his family would be here while school is still going. By now, they're probably summering in Detroit. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Foul ball. Chris Carpenter, one of the maligned Ranger bullpenners. Nothing to malign about his work so far today.
This will be pitch 58 for Carpenter, and that's a ton of work for a bullpen pitcher who's worked now 3 times in the last 4 games.
3-2 pitch. On the fist, left field coming in for an over is Gonzalez. Still coming, he's there. 1 out. It's a soft line drive as we watch the Ranger dugout. And Kevin is looking and not doing anything. Gibson is coming to the plate. Could this be the new philosophy, Norm? If it isn't broke,
well,
don't fix it.
If he's not bleeding, he's not coming out. Anybody getting outs out of the bullpen stays out there as long as they want.
Now, this is also interesting because this is the one guy that got him.
Yes.
430-foot home run. I guess you're playing the percentage that you can't do it twice. No balls and a strike.
Oh, look out. That lightning doesn't strike twice is a dangerous theory.
Or that he learned something the first time. No balls and a strike.
Well, the best lightning never strikes twice theory I can ever remember was that 51 playoff between the Giants and the Dodgers.
Yep. Hey, see? 2 outs.
In that series, by the way, Ralph Branca was the best of 3. Ralph Branca had lost the first game to the Giants. Then the Dodgers evened it. And then Branca was brought in relief to face Bobby Thompson in Game 3. The Giants had beaten the Dodgers in Game 1 on a late-inning home run by Bobby Thompson off Ralph Branca. And the theory was, never do it again.
2 up, 2 out here in the 7th. Tettleton, always a dangerous hitter. He struck out his last time, but he had a triple his first time up, and he takes that for a ball.
Meanwhile, if Carpenter gets to this inning unscored, he deserves a real round of applause. The Rangers have dug their way back into this game, and this has been a really nice middle inning performance by Carpenter.
1-0 pitch. Strike on the outside corner. You know, this serves 2 purposes. Now, he's not through it yet, and this guy can do some damage. But it's got to boost his confidence, and it also might give the Ranger manager and coaching staff a little pause for consideration. As we said before, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And right now, Kevin is seeing that Chris Carpenter certainly isn't broke. 1 ball and 2 strikes. and 2 strikes to Tettleton. In tight, moved him off the plate. It's 2-2. 2 outs here in the 7th. The Rangers have battled back from a 5-0 deficit. They trail by 2 at 6-4.
This is the Chris Carpenter that you want to see. This is the guy that the Rangers thought they were acquiring from Florida last year. And it's not that he has problems making pitches, Greg. He's got good stuff. It's that at certain points he doesn't seem to think particularly well. He tries to throw too many strikes. Schieffer and Grieve
They're doing some things. By the way, that's a good opportunity for us to plug tomorrow's Sports Talk. I'll be chatting with Tom Grieve. Bouncing ball through for a base hit. 2-out single to right by Tettleton on the 3-2 pitch.
That's it. Here comes Kennedy.
Junior Felix will be the next hitter.
Give you an update. Randy Johnson just struck out another man in the 5th inning. 11 Ks through 5 for Johnson.
Felix, a switch hitter, and really, though there is a differential of about 40 points, even the right-handed batting average of 288 is nothing to sneeze at. He's 325 as a left-handed hitter, 288 the other way. Now, he has not made a signal to the bullpen.
You're right. You're right.
That's a confidence builder again. And let's see if Chris can get through Junior. Crowd, I think, generally in favor of this decision. Kevin does not manage for the crowd, obviously, but it's nice when they agree with you. It just feels better when you go back in the dugout. 2 singles and a walk. Included in that total was a base hit in the 5th inning off Carpenter. Walk was intentional in the 3rd. Carpenter has just given up 3 hits. One of them was a home run to Gibson and 2 singles. One to Tettleton and one earlier to Felix. They play him around in the hole. Fry in the hole at second base with 2 outs. The middle is what's open. No swing.
By the way, a note on a speedy game. The Cleveland-Minnesota game that started an hour after this one is in the bottom of the 7th.
Minnesota's getting a common pitching. There's a swing and a miss.
Both are. That's
yeah, they
Erickson.
both are, but Cleveland usually gets a little bit better pitching.
Yeah. That's Erickson and Morris. 2-1 Indians. 2-run homer by Murray. One ball and a strike with 2 outs. Rangers down by 2. We're in the top of the 7th. Runner at first. Junior Felix, the hitter. Oh, he jammed it. I'll tell you what I've noticed from up here, and I'm not watching the monitor as much as I'm watching from up in our booth. He's really changing his location on his pitches very well. He's going inside, he's going outside, and his problem has been it's come right down the middle. Well, and this has been the problem right here. Ahead of hitters, he's been throwing the ball down the middle. Let's see if Carpenter can complete this terrific middle inning performance against Felix. See if we can tell where the target is from the catcher. It's outside. Came back, but he struck him out. Really kept it down. Yep. So Carpenter gets a well-deserved hand as he goes to the sideline. The Rangers hanging in as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer. 6-4 Detroit.
Celebrate July Independence by setting yourself free on HSE. HSE Baseball earns its stars and stripes by being the only place to catch both American and National League action. Minor League Baseball's best sparkle in the AA and AAA All-Star Game. The CISL joins in the celebration with the Dallas Sidekicks and Houston Hotshot. Plus, it's time to rev up things with auto racing. Can't have a party without chips and hot dogs on the tennis circuit. Shoot the works this July on HSE. Prime Racing has got the checkered flag. Start your engines, race fans. Prime has captured the pole position for the top NASCAR, ASA, NHRA, SCCA, and AMA road events. Plus magazine shows that highlight the leading drivers and the best races. Whether it's 4 wheels or 2 wheels, anything that burns rubber, shifts gears, pushes the barriers of speed, Prime Racing has got the checkered flag. Start your engines with Prime Racing throughout the season on HSE. When you need an auto part, you don't need to search high and low.
I'd never been to an auto parts store before.
A friend said she'd save money doing it herself.
I never would have thought I'd change a headlight.
I told her it was a lot easier than it looked.
The high-low guy told me how, step by step.
Knew she could do it.
Knew I could do it.
She could get a headlight anywhere. What she needed was high-low.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
Minnesota, after they play, take me out to the ball game, they play YMCA by the Village People. That's not Scandinavian, is it? Here's Will Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer. Traditional Minnesota folk tune. Much like the Cotton Eye Joe is here in Texas. Clark has been on base twice. He singled in the 4th inning, walked and scored in the 5th. Rangers got 3 in the 5th. After Canseco's 2-run homer, Clark was able to come in on an error by Fryman at 3rd. 2 balls and no strikes. That's the way you start innings. Get some base runners and then do something with them. The Rangers have one of their their last run scored after being walked. Their 3rd run scored after being walked. There's Pudge. He is back in action. Foul back. Pudge, it's interesting. I saw him in the clubhouse, and he said he was going to play, and I said, kind of hot out there. He says, how hot? And I said, 95. He says, well, I'm from Puerto Rico. I play. Hot doesn't bother me. And I said, come on, Pudge.
Yeah. How hot would have bothered him?
2 balls and a strike.
You know, Gardner looks like he's got some pretty decent stuff, and you look back at last inning, and though the Rangers got a run, it looked like more than that when the first 2 guys at the bottom of the order got on.
That's high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Mr. G, Juan Gonzalez. Clark strikes out. 1 down. 2nd strikeout for Gardner. Gonzalez will come up. He is flied to left, flied to right, and reached on that error by Fryman on a ball that he really scored. He's actually been a little unlucky. Going back to yesterday's game, he had a couple balls right on the button. He ended the game with 1 base hit, but he lined hard to 3rd and hit a hard ball. It was turning to a double play, so we only had 1 hit to show for it. Here, the ball that he hit to 3rd base was hit right on the button. So his average is dropping a little bit, but he's not striking out. He's hitting the ball. It's no balls and a strike here.
As a hitter, you hate to see that, because obviously you go in and out of slumps through a season, and you like when you're hitting the ball hard to get some reward for it.
That one's on the handle. May have broken another bat. He's getting jammed a lot. That's what's happened to him 3 of his 4 times tonight, and there are 2 outs. Palmer will be the hitter.
As Palmer steps in, realize that the Tigers closer is a guy named Mike Henneman. And you should understand that Henneman has been pure poison to the Rangers since 1988. Henneman, who figures to get in this game. Since '88, Henneman against the Rangers. 8-0, 10 saves in 11 opportunities, and an earned run average of 2.29. So this is unlike Aguilera, whom the Rangers had a good history against. They don't against Henneman.
It is 2 balls and no strikes. Palmer struck out, was called out on strikes, ending the 5th. He is grounded out and walked in his other 2 at-bats. 6-4, Tigers. First of 2. Foul ball into the stands. By the way, the Rangers tonight will surpass 1.5 million on the 39th home date. That's obviously the earliest ever. Club average is 39,290, 3rd best in the American League behind Toronto and Baltimore. They're both averaging 10,000 more. Wow. Toronto's been doing it for a number of years in Baltimore ever since the new park. That's foul.
You can make some money in this game, putting 46, 47,000 people in seats every night.
You got that. Tom Schiefer sitting up there with Tom Grieve, the president of the Rangers. That'll be into right field for a base hit. Palmer with his first hit gets on with 2 outs. Just kind of hit it with an old wet newspaper, but it counts.
I think Palmer's going to have to re-chalk the bat after that one. That appeared to be cued out to right field.
Palmer at first. Rusty Greer, who showed some good power in Minnesota. Hit one into the upper deck, one of his 2 home runs, which he hit in the 3-game series. He has 5. Little known fact that he actually hit one in this park on the first day that a game was played. They extended after the regular 9 innings. The Mets and the Rangers extended and played another inning or 2. Actually, it was Rangers did all the batting. The Mets just wanted to get some pitchers work, and he hit a homer. And he went to the minors the next day. I think that he's thinking that might be the end of another bat. It sure didn't sound very good, but apparently it's all right. One ball and a strike. Palmer at first with 2 outs. Rangers trailing by 2 here in the 7th. Whoa! Bang, bang, bang. That caught a camera. It caught a ball boy, one of the attendants.
It
Not
didn't catch
boy.
Ray Ramirez.
No, Ray got out of the way. It was one of his assistants.
Yeah, whose hair is still in place.
And has not turned gray over instantly. Got him on the inside corner. Good fastball, and that retires the side. So Greer's called out on strikes. The second time he is fanned. The Rangers leave 1. We go to the 8th. It is 6-4 Detroit.
Research has demonstrated that the ergogenic effect of carbohydrates.
No other beverage has been proven more effective than Gatorade.
Consuming Gatorade during exercise has been shown to improve
Absorb 30% faster than water.
Gatorade contains the optimal balance of carbohydrates and water.
No other beverage has been proven more effective at replacing
nothing quenches your deep down body thirst better.
Scientifically tested, athletically proven. Only Gatorade Thirst Quencher is liquid technology.
for that deep down body thirst.
Come out to play!
Living out here where the Gators are dinner isn't easy on a truck like me. So when I'm blue, I have an idea that works. I pour down a bottle of Berryman Fuel Injector Cleaner. Boop, boop, boop. Wow! I feel friskier. And I guarantee you'll feel it in your vehicle, too. Or you get your money back. Gotta run. Performance that goes beyond the ordinary. Berryman Fuel Injector Cleaner with a money-back guarantee. Feel it!
The 1994 Texas Rangers. These are exciting times. If you haven't been out to the ballpark in Arlington, you don't know what you're missing. What are you waiting for? It's a whole new ball game. And here's something else for you to look forward to.
Sunday, July 17th at 7:05, the Rangers take on the Toronto Blue Jays. All fans will enjoy the antics of the famous chicken presented by Albertsons.
The 1994 Texas Rangers. It's a whole new ball game.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
We're going to the top of the 8th, and it's time for the Dallas Morning News Sports Day front page news. There was a brownout tonight, at least early for the Rangers. There's just one of the signs that Kevin Brown was not on target, because he wasn't trying to do that, folks. Junior Felix, or Juan Samuel, I should say, was hit by a pitch twice. Brown only 2 2/3, gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. And the Rangers have been trying to catch up ever since. The Rangers go to their third pitcher. Carpenter did a great job holding him in the ballgame, giving up just 1 run in 4 1/3 innings. And now it's Matt Whiteside, who has been iffy and it's time for him to not be iffy. The Rangers are going to have a chance.
That's being really kind to say he's been iffy. 6 hits, 6 runs over his last 2 innings. The ERA's exploded into the mid-5s.
He faces Ingram, who takes the first pitch. Ingram, I mentioned when he came up and swung at the first pitch last time that at Georgia Tech he was an All-American defensive back, as well as the ACC Player of the Year in '87. He set a record as a baseball player with 99 runs batted in, 17 homers, and so he was highly regarded when he was drafted by Detroit. Last year at 13 home runs at Toledo. 1 ball and a strike here. Backhand by Manuel Lee and the patented flip, and there's 1 out. Chris Gomez will be the hitter.
There is some speculation about Matt Whiteside. In fact, it was in the papers today that Matt Whiteside, who has options left, could be a person sent to the minor leagues to make room for starting pitcher Roger Pavlik tomorrow. Somebody's got to go so Pavlik can be activated off the disabled list.
Yes, and that would perhaps happen even if Matt does pitch well here, because he does have options, and that would not mean he wouldn't be back. In fact, the chances are very good in the way the pitching's been. He'd be back for sure somewhere along the line, and maybe not all that long. 1 ball and no strikes. Jeff Fry at second base. In fact, that's one of the beauties. If you're in Oklahoma City and you follow the 89ers, you're really seeing an awful lot of the Rangers in a given year at a different time, like Brian Bohannon or like David Hulse, who'll be up there in Oklahoma. You saw Jeff Fry early on. Rob Ducey has been hitting a ton of. The only thing bad is the club's not ever winning any games. They're in a lot of trouble.
I got a question for you. What if, after tonight's game, Kevin Brown came in and said, hey, if you don't think Pavlik's ready, I'll go again tomorrow?
Well, the option might be you want to be the long guy in case. That ball is hit hard to right. Greer back, still back, can't get to it. It bangs off the sign. And going into second base with his 3rd hit of the game is Tony Phillips. He's 3 for 5, a double. But if you're going to do that with 2 outs, at least it gives you a better opportunity to get out of the inning with no damage. Whitaker will be the hitter, though.
Now, if you're a Ranger fan, doesn't that play look big that Lee made? And here comes Kevin Kennedy, and that might be the extent of Whiteside's work tonight with the left-hander Whitaker up.
Oliver is out there. Of course, Dan Smith threw earlier and didn't get the call. Again, maybe he's not making a change. Maybe we're to the point in the game where, although he may just be stalling, because Oliver hadn't been out there that long. Yeah, he's making the change. And so Whiteside goes 2/3. He gives up 1 hit, and there'll be a pitching change coming. Let us remind you that this homestand not only has a lot of good baseball, but it's got some good opportunities. Wednesday night, I was about to say, in addition to good baseball, there will also be some opportunities when the Rangers take on the Indians. All fans 13 and under entering the ballpark with a paid admission will receive a replica Ranger home jersey featuring Juan Gonzalez's name and number 19 on the back. That is all fans 13 and under. Home jersey night. And there will be a road jersey night later on. So Juan Gonzalez's name and number 19 on the back Wednesday night. Put that down on your calendar.
Here comes the Ranger pitcher going the best at the moment in the bullpen. Only 1 run in the last 8 appearances for Oliver, and he's especially tough on what he's going to have to face here, and that's left-hand hitting Lou Whitaker. Lefties this year against Darren Oliver are just 6 for 38. That's $158.
Yeah, his problem is, I think we pointed out before, is that I don't have the breakdown, but I do know through what I have seen that his problem has been when he does walk them, or walk batters, they tend to be those left-handed hitters. When he doesn't walk them, he gets them out. And that happened to him just the other day in Minnesota. He got the first one, and then he walked the second one. Let's see how he can do here. They do not hit him when they have to swing, and Rangers are high on this, the future of Oliver. As well they should. He has got to work on his control a little bit. 24 walks in 29 innings is too many. But he does have great stuff, and he'll be facing Whitaker with 2 outs. 6-4, Detroit with 13 hits. The Rangers have 8 home runs in the ball game. Kirk Gibson hit one, his 14th in the 5th inning. And for the Rangers, Jose Canseco hit one in the 5th inning, his 23rd. He drove in 2 with that. He now has 72 runs batted in, which puts him only 1 behind Kirby Puckett for the American League lead. Whitaker has 3 singles in his first 3 at-bats, and then he grounded out to the second baseman Fry his last time up.
Now, the Tigers could, if they had wanted to here, gone to Trammell. For Whitaker, played Trammell at shortstop and shuffled Gomez over to second base. That's going to be their lineup the second game.
Particularly since Whitaker rarely sees left-handed pitching anymore, and he kind of looked like it on that first bender, didn't he? Last year he had only 122 against left-handed pitching, but he only had 48 at-bats, and yet he played enough to hit 290 with 67 runs batted in. Wasn't against lefties. Fly ball, center field, should be handled. Backing up for it, though. The wind has shifted, obviously, and Obi McDowell makes the play, and that retires the side. So the 8th, the top of, is in the books. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Rangers coming up bottom 8. It's Lee, and then Rodriguez in the top of the order.
Here are 3 premium flat latex wall paints and new Everclean, only from Sherwin-Williams, a paint that really holds up against stains. We'll take tough stains like grease, red wine, tea, grape juice, coffee, mustard, and let them set overnight. Everclean is a flat latex wall paint with a non-porous finish, so it cleans off easily. Stains don't stand a chance with new Everclean.
Here's Joey.
Hey, Car Wars, it's just Car Wars and West.
Joe, you're a nightclub performer now?
Well, true talent must be expressed.
Uh-huh. Well, how about Westway's talent for offering tremendous savings? Like low 2.9% financing on all new probes.
Westway, blowing the competition away.
Westway Ford.
Airport Freeway at O'Connor near Texas Stadium.
Meteorologists are predicting a long, hot summer. We suggest the following affordable yet effective method for staying cool.
Well, I'm gonna raise a fuss, I'm gonna raise a holler.
The Chevy Camaro.
I'm about working all summer just to try to earn a dollar.
Starting under $14,300. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
There ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
Here's tonight's Royal Oak Charcoal Grandstand play of the game. And it's going to be made by Tom Siegfried. A red-hot grab, and there's Roy right next to him, of the famed Siegfried and Roy. Tom will receive a Royal Oak gift certificate and is eligible for the Royal Oak Grandstand Catch of the Year.
Not bad. That was a pretty good play.
Yes, it was. That was early on, and it shows you got to be on the ball early. Lee has grounded out twice and walked in the 6th. Rangers trail by 2. That ball is toward the corner. If it stays fair, it's an extra base. It's a fair ball, and Manuel Lee has 2, and he will content himself with a double. Ball gets away, but Manuel stays put.
If you're Detroit, you're pretty nervous at this point, I would think, Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, you got Rodriguez coming up, and While he hasn't had an at-bat for a while, he hasn't played the last 3 games. Prior to that, he was hitting well, 368 over the last 5 and 361 over the last 15. So if the idleness has not caused him to slow down the bat speed at all, you got a guy who had a hot one.
Well, and you've got a left-hander ready in the bullpen, Cadaret, to pitch to McDowell next. The problem is, if you bring him to pitch to McDowell, Kennedy counters with Chris James. I'm not so sure that's not a better matchup for Texas.
Up the middle, base hit. The bat is still hot. Here comes the run. Stumbling, but still scoring is Lee, and the Rangers are within 1. The way you do it if you're a pinch hitter. You come up and you pick on the first one you like and slam it. And that was breaking away from him, but it was a little high and he was able to reach it. Manuel Lee stumbled prior to the shot you see here, but the ball was rolling to center, so it didn't have enough speed to make it a close play. And now, with McDowell the hitter, the Rangers can use him to bunt. And even if they did want to make a pitching change, the Rangers would not necessarily have to use a pinch hitter if the plan is to get the runner over with a bunt.
In the Tiger pen, besides Cadaret, that is the closer, Mike Henneman. Now, the theory here may be let Gardner pitch to McDowell, who may be bunting, and go right to the closer.
And Odobe, of course, is capable of. Now, here comes Spark. He's been thinking it over. And now the Rangers have to decide whether or not they want to go ahead and bunt, not make a pitching change, or no, a hitting change, or just because it may be a right-hander coming in.
Apparently we'll go to the lefty. The lefty is groomed now. Cadaret has sat down. The lefty is groomed with Henneman.
And a change is being made by the Tigers.
And it's the righty.
This is Mike Henneman. Well, I think this is what we were surmising. Sparky knows they're going to sacrifice here, or he feels for sure they will. Consequently, why bother? Why bother bringing in a left-hander to pitch the guy who's going to bunt and then having to come in with a right-hander anyway? Although Odubie McDowell's gone back to the dugout.
He's going to get his bunt back.
I think maybe it's fatter. It's got more surface on it.
You know, normally you think of the 9th inning as the closer inning. This is the closer inning for Detroit. Because if Texas can get even here with the Tigers closer in the game already, huge advantage shifts to Detroit. On the other hand, Detroit is saying right here what we just talked about. This is a nervous situation. Let's get our best pitcher in the game, and that's Mike Henneman. Henneman this year for the Tigers, an inflated earned run average. He does have 8 saves. The Tigers have only 13 in toto. He has more hits than innings pitched. He still strikes out a nice high number. But the league is hitting .291 against him, and that's very high for Mike Henneman. He has had, as we said, though, terrific success against the Rangers. Since 1988, covering the last 6 years, Henneman at 8-0, 10 of 11 save situations, and a 2.29 earned run average.
Now, Henneman has faced the Rangers once this year, and he wasn't all that effective. Tigers and the Rangers will be going in at Game 2 about 20-plus minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. So just stay with us. We'll have a little pin and chase interlude between games. As Odubie McDowell gets set to, we presume, bunt. Henneman pitched 2/3 of an inning back on the 2nd of May against the Rangers. Gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. Now, the runs were unearned. But he did not pitch particularly well in that stretch. The Tigers, though, did win the game in 10 by a score of 10-8. As Detroit gave up 4 Texas runs in the top of the 9th. Henneman was part of that. That's the only time he has seen action against Texas this year. Prior to this year, as Norm pointed out, he's been quite effective.
In Baltimore tonight, the Angels have just hit their 5th home run off Mike Mussina. Davis, Curtis, 2 by Salmon, and now Jim Edmonds. They still trail 8-7. But there's one I never thought we'd announce. 5 homers off Musina.
Fryman very close at third, and McDowell fouls the bunt. He has 4 sacrifice. That was a good example of a guy who is used to bunting for hits. He really took off out of the box just a little bit early for a sacrifice.
By the way, Greg, one more note about the California-Baltimore game. You know the heat on Johnny Oates?
Yeah.
Johnny Oates, with his team leading 7-4 in the 4th inning tonight, thrown out of the game in the bottom of the 4th, arguing balls and strikes.
No balls and a strike. Trying to make it too perfect. Bunting. I know someone's at home's going to say, come on, you guys up there in the booth, you can criticize all you want. Bunting is not easy, but it's also not real hard if you're a professional. You can't make it too perfect. And Notaby looked like he tried to make that one too perfect. No balls and 2 strikes. Now, actually, though, because the Tigers brought in the right-hander, Notaby failing to bunt, at least the percentage is in his favor with the right-handed pitcher. He's in a hole, though. No balls and 2 strikes, and Henneman's certainly capable of getting a big strikeout. He got a good fork ball. He took it. He was bunting with 2 strikes and took it. And not only did he turn around to bunt with 2 strikes, but that was close to being a strike call. Also close to being bunched at. One ball and 2 strikes. The Rangers trail by 1. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Rodriguez is at first. Lee has already scored. There's nobody out. Fly ball. Didn't get the job done as he's going to hit a soft fly to the shortstop area where Gomez will make the catch. Execution. Rangers don't on that particular situation, and there's one out. That was a problem the Rangers had with David Hulse, and one of the reasons that probably not the major reason. The major reason was that he had options left, that he was the one that was sent down and was not playing. But one of the reasons he wasn't playing, that he was not executing in situations where the little guy has to execute. Here's Fry.
You just can't have Hulse with an on-base percentage barely over 300 when McDowell and Greer, your other alternatives, have enormous on-base percentages. McDowell 399 and Greer 390.
The other thing that's a little bit depressing, I think, for folks who watch a lot of baseball on HSE as Fry takes the first pitch for a strike, is you watch the Astro games, and to be honest, National League pitchers sacrifice a lot better than Major League regulars in the American League. Admittedly, they practice it more because that's one of their main jobs, but no balls and a strike. Henneman coming right after Fry, who had a big RBI single in the 6th and has 3 out of 4.
Greg, Randy Johnson, who struck out 10 men in the first 4 innings, has been relieved in the 7th. Seattle still leads 3-2, but Bill Risley, whose 6 wins, by the way, tie him for the major league lead in rookies. Bill Risley? Who? But he's doing a good job out of the Seattle bullpen.
No balls and 2 strikes. Short hop through for an error. The second Tiger error. Rodriguez goes to third. Right through the wicket of Gomez. And again, the Tigers, the best defensive team in the American League, have committed 2 big ones. And that's a double play ball.
It's almost a double error by Gomez. Now, the ball was hit very hard, but he didn't keep the ball in front of him. As hard as that would hit, if he just kept it in front of him, he'd have gotten it out. He goes down, and again, right through the legs, as he doesn't keep the ball in front of him.
Henneman has seen this act before. As we pointed out, when he faced the Rangers in May, he gave up 2 unearned runs. There were errors involved then. by a team that doesn't make many. And now Canseco is up with a tying run at third and one out. There's one thing he needs to stay away from, and we all know what that is. That hard 6-4-3 double play ground ball. Sacrifice fly ties the ball game. Strike on the inside corner. Jose looking back and saying, checking the trajectory on that one.
Canseco tied for the lead on the Rangers in grounding into double plays with 13. Some of that due to the fact that he's not been able to run now for several weeks because of the hip flexor muscle not run as well.
Foul ball. I think some of it also is that Jose, unlike most power hitters, is not a dead pull hitter. Therefore, when you play double play position for him, he hits a lot of balls there. He doesn't hit a whole lot of balls in the hole where you've got an advantage.
The Tiger defense, infield-wise, straightaway looking for two. Look at how far to right center they play Canseco, and they give him an enormous amount of the left field line. Can you remember anybody giving Canseco that much left field line?
Well, early in the year, he was hitting the ball. As they said, he wasn't hitting down the line that much. We'll see how they're pitching. Here's the 0-2. Fouled back. He just saved himself on that one. Wasn't sure if it was a ball, wasn't sure if it was a strike, but he wanted to make sure, and he just got the fists on it.
A nice piece of hitting there. Sometimes the best swings you make are the ones that fight off those terrific pitcher pitches, and Henneman gave him a really good pitch on the inside corner.
Laughing about that mighty stroke. No balls and 2 strikes. Rangers down by 1, but golden opportunity here. The Tigers had a 5-0 lead. The Rangers have battled back.
Henneman is a strikeout pitcher, getting right at 1 per inning this year.
Runner goes at first. It is a ball to throw through, not in time. Stolen base. And we have a stolen base winner also tonight. Been waiting the whole game, and with Jeff Fry's 6th steal in 7 attempts. Alan Russell wins the Desenex in the steal for the night. Tom Henke getting set to try to close it in the 9th if the Rangers can take the lead here.
Wouldn't this be a game to rally and win for the Rangers?
A single puts the Rangers on top. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blocked by Tettleton, 2-2. With the stolen base by Fry, even if Canseco was retired and unable to get the run in, at least it gives you a second top hitter with an opportunity because Clark is up. The double play is no longer an option. Unless he lines into him. If you are in the Ranger dugout, this is about as good a position you could have ever hoped to be in after trailing 5-0 early and having to turn the game over to your bullpen. You got the 6-0?
6-0. Yeah, they got him to 6-0.
Oh yeah, until the top of the inning, right? 5 in the, and then 1 more in the top of the 5th. One more chance though. There's 2 outs.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to manage the Tigers, Greg. Walk Clark, pitch to Gonzalez.
Oh no, they're going to.
Yeah, got to. I think you got to.